up, you guys? It's Superior Shelby here, and today I want to talk about the State Small Business Credit Initiative Program. Yes, that is the SSBCI. I talked about this one time before on my YouTube channel, and it's pretty much not pandemic relief, but it's relief, right? Or it's funding for small businesses. So make sure you stay to the end so you can have clarity on how to get this funding, and also make sure you share this video to all small businesses who can definitely use this great information, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit the like button so YouTube algorithm can keep pushing this out. All right, so let's jump right into it. So the State Small Business Credit Initiative Program started in the early 2000s, especially right after that initial I wouldn't say recession. And so it's pretty much a relief fund, right, for all small businesses to be able to acquire when we need money to sustain, not really so much for startup opportunities. But the State Small Business Credit Initiative Program has been refunded and extended due to the CARES Act. Obviously, we all experienced the pandemic situation. So because we went through that pandemic, now we are still, trying to get afloat, especially if you're in the industries like the restaurant industry, right? Or any other technical assistance business that was severely affected by the pandemic. Let's read the actual definition of what the State Small Business Credit Initiative Program is. It reads as follows. The American Rescue Plan Act reauthorized and expanded the State Small Business Credit Initiative Program to provide $10 billion to support small businesses and empower them to access the capital needed to invest in job-creating opportunities as the country emerges from the pandemic. SSBCI provides funds to states, the District of Columbia, territories, and tribal governments to promote American entrepreneurship, support small business ownership, and democratize access to capital across the country, including in underserved communities. $10 billion went to multiple states, territories, different governments and stuff throughout the entire United States. So that way the state itself would actually fund or disperse these funds to different institutions, so that way we can apply for the funding. Now, the State Small Business Credit Initiative Program, keyword credit, it will be in multiple loan programs. So this is not a grant situation. This is not a grant, okay? I want to make it very clear. Let's keep moving forward. So how do you actually get this funding, right? So now that we know that all of the states and U.S. territories have officially been funded this $10 billion, or out of the $10 billion, right? How do we as small business owners and entrepreneurs be able to get the money so we can sustain and keep our business up, right? So let's continue reading in my notes. I have some links down below in the description so that way you guys can click and follow along. Obviously, I wrote a full article on my medium.com. So make sure you visit medium.com/@superior.shelby. So that way you won't miss any of my free grant lists, and also you won't miss any of this really great information in word form. How to get the SSBCI funding. Through SSBCI, jurisdictions provide funding to small businesses through equity and venture capital programs, loan participation programs as well, loan guarantee programs, collateral support programs, and capital access programs tailored to local market conditions. In addition, Treasury recipient jurisdictions and the Minority Business Development Agency, that's the MBDA, our favorite people, at the U.S. Department of Commerce will support technical assistance to improve access to capital, including for traditional underserved entrepreneurs. Like stated before, the SSBCI was funded from the CARES Act, right? The $10 billion. The $10 billion was dispersed to all U.S. territories and cities and towns and stuff. And then they came up with multiple capital access programs, or CAPS, right? If you all have been banking with different multiple credit unions or different, federal insured banks and things like that, and they have been, you've seen on their website, they have a new program called a venture capital program, capital access program, another one that they stated before, loan participation program. Those are actually funded from the SSBCI. So let's go over the different types of programs so you all of you have clarity on how each program works. And so you can pick out which program is best for you. The different types of programs. The programs available under SSBCI to provide capital access to all recipient jurisdictions, including in undeserved areas, are: you have venture capital programs, which is where jurisdictions may set up a public-private partnership for equity, investing, or invest in venture capital funds. These investments are focused on providing capital to undeserved startups and democratizing venture capital across all of the states. So you have a venture capital program, is more kind of like an investment group program, and it's good for startups. You have loan participation programs, which is actually, this is most likely the one the banks are gaining, which is the loan participation program. What this is, in these programs, you have states and obviously the District of Columbia, different territories. They buy an interest in the loans made by lenders or lend directly alongside private lenders, providing direct lending to finance small businesses. Okay, so it's literally a loan participation program where another bank or another organization goes in participation with that lender, and they are able to provide you with the funding. Okay, so you will see the loan participation programs for sure. Then you have loan guarantee programs. Now the loan guarantee programs is actually something I've been noticing a lot more, just like the loan participation program. The loan guarantee program is pretty much when the governments use the SSBCI funds to provide an insurance to the lenders that they will pretty much be partially repaid in the event of default after the lender makes every reasonable effort to collect, helping small businesses secure loans that may have otherwise been inaccessible or prohibitively expensive. The loan guarantee program is pretty much reassurance to the lenders or the banks, right, or the credit unions, that they will get at least more than half, right, of their funding back in the event that you as a small business owner or the small business itself doesn't have the necessary collateral or the cash, right, to be able to pay it back, because at the time of getting the loan, you might have hit another financial hardship. So the loan guarantee program is one that I've actually saw pop up a lot more within these banks. However, to qualify for those loans, you do have to have a really good credit score of at least 680 or above, because they want to make sure you are a financially responsible person for your business. Collateral support programs, I rarely see these. This program is a model set aside for funds as collateral for new loans, enabling startups to borrow funds to help their businesses grow with the assistance of the SSBCI capital. This is literally what it says. Collateral support programs, you have to have collateral to be able to be eligible for this opportunity, even if you are a startup. But nevertheless, they use the SSBCI funding to be able to give you the money for either your startup or money for you to sustain. Now, capital access programs, CAPS, all right? You will see these pretty much everywhere now. CAPS, right? Capital Access Programs. These programs provide portfolio insurance in the form of a loan loss revenue reserve fund into which the lender and borrower contribute, supplemented with the SSBCI fund. So I'm going to read that again. These programs provide portfolio insurance in the form of a loan loss reserve fund into which the lender and borrower contribute, supplemented with the SSBCI funds. Okay, so the Capital Access Program is pretty much kind of like the Loan Guarantee Program. They kind of go one and the same, but giving you insurance or that reassurance in the event of you actually needing the funding. The Capital Access Programs is really for seriously affected, right? Or if you are in an undeserved area, or especially if you are a minority business owner, CAPS is pretty much what we would sign up for. Those are the multiple different loan programs. You won't see all of them within your credit union that you're banking with or your actual lender doing business with. You won't really see all of those access programs or capital programs because they only choose out of the bunch that we just went over, right? Out of the bunch that we went over, I would say the Capital Access Program and the Venture Capital Program, the Loan Guarantee Program, those are the three that you would actually see, okay? Loan Guarantee Program, Capital Access Program, CAPS, okay? And then you'll see Venture Capital too as well in there. Even if you go to the website, you'll see it like Loan Guarantee Program, Capital Access Program, you'll see that. And when you see that, just know that it's funded through the SSBCI. So you want to directly contact your bank or the lender or the business manager, physically go into the bank, most likely. That really does help with your approval odds, and ask them the necessary questions you need to ask them. My superior advice for this, all right, obviously I have this in my article, so we're going to read my advice to all of you guys and how you can get this funding. The SSBCI funding is kind of like another relief program for all small businesses. We have the ability to gain funding from the capital access programs provided. When the Treasury approved all of the states and American territories for the opportunity, the banks and the other institutions were allocated funding to disperse to all small businesses provided by the approved state. These financial institutions will promote a special loan program for small, undeserved businesses in need of working capital. There is a link in my article, okay, in the article that you'll be able to take. You'll be able to actually look up the specific state, right? Because each state has different banks and has different credit unions that are actually participating in this capital access or in these capital programs. You can use the link to find the specific loan capital access program for you, okay, that's in your state, okay, because it's definitely state specific. However, to add to that, even if you're not in the state, right, because I've noticed that Virginia and Georgia has been one of the two states that, regardless of whether you are doing business in their state or not, they're giving you the SSBCI funding or the capital. So you don't really have to be in that state to be eligible for the opportunity. You just have to have the eligibility requirements, which may be having a good credit score of 680 or above, having at least 6 months worth of bank statements, things like that. Once you find the local capital access program, ask the loan officer what is required for the approval. Even though this is a program for undeserved businesses, most lenders have their own eligibility requirements for this opportunity. For example, let's just say that you go to your local credit union and they have the capital access program available. They may request that you need to have a credit score of 680 or above and at least 6 months worth of bank statements in order to be accepted in this program. Keep in mind that this is a loan program, not a grant. Therefore, you will have to pay it back with interest, all right? Want to make that clear. This is not a grant program. This is a loan program that you will have to pay back. Keep that in mind. The SSBCI is an easier capital lending program that you all can have access to. It's not like your traditional capital access, or it's not your traditional bank loan or business loan, right? Your traditional bank or business loan, they do require a lot, including a business plan. But with this, they're probably only having the eligibility requirements of 4 main things: your personal information, right, which would be like your 2 forms of ID, obviously your EIN, your articles of operation, 6 months worth of bank statements, and your personal credit score, so you can be accounted for as a personal guarantee for your business. But nevertheless, the requirements and the eligibility requirements, are much easier than a traditional business bank loan. Kind of similar, but more easier to get approved for, because this is a capital access program. The purpose of it is so that way we can have the capital we need in order to sustain or to start up. Some of them are for startups, but really to sustain due to the event of us being affected by the pandemic. Okay? Make sure you guys click the links down below in the description so that way you can learn more and get more familiar with the SSBCI funding, that's State Small Business Credit Initiative funding. Find the most local lender near you. All of the states have officially been approved. All of the states have officially been funded. It's time for you guys, if you are interested, definitely click the links down below. Read through my article. It's only about 2 minutes. And then you can click the links within the article so that way you can find the lender within your region or that's near you. Okay. I hope this video was very informative, and I hope it motivates you all to actually get the capital that you deserve so that way you can have the funding you need to scale, all right? Grant funding is always available throughout the entire year. And it's amazing to get grant funding because it's funding you don't have to pay back and it doesn't go by your personal credit. But the cons about grants is it can take you more than 90 days to get funded. And in addition to that, grants are competitions. So in the event of you really needing the capital that you need right now, loans will actually be your best friend, believe it or not. Just make sure you have a strategic plan on how you would allocate those funds. And that's why I always tell you guys, and I'm really doing my best in advising, that you guys have a business plan, because the business plan will literally outline your execution steps. And even if you don't want to go by the business plan, it's still good to have one. I'm Superior Shelby. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Make sure you share this video, like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you've gotten to the end, thank you so much. All right, I really appreciate you for watching the entire video. Make sure you text #business to 305-686-0781 if you are interested in having a consultation with me so we can strategize together and actually, talk about how we can execute the plan and the steps together, okay? And if you want my team that has years of experience in grant writing services and you want us to actually search and apply for grants for you, make sure you text #grants to 305-686-0781. I love you guys and have a very beautiful and productive week. Peace.